Welcome, Mr. Dome, and welcome to this special report. We will see money printing, we will see inflation like we have not seen since COVID-19 pandemic response. And that usually means that asset prices go up. That also means that prices in the real world go up. So in this video, I will explain why I think the money printers will go back online. I will show you the evidence. I will explain what it actually means for you guys, and I will show you how you can protect with Bitcoin your spending power. And also, I will give you like a bonus at the end of the video to show you why Bitcoin is extremely good right now. So first off, let me show you this chart here. This shows the total M2 money supply of the planet. And M2 money supply is basically means how many currency units there are. And these are dollarized numbers, which means that when the dollar price is going down, then that means that the money supply is actually going up because every other currency is dollarized. So this is a rough estimation of the total money supply in dollarized terms, let's call it that. And here we have 21 central banks in this chart. We have North America, Eurozone, non-Eurozone, Pacific, Asia, Latin America, Middle East, and Africa. All of these currencies are represented in this chart here. So whenever this is going up, and most of the time it is going up because that's what governments do, they always create new money as a hidden tax for its citizens. And when it goes up, usually Bitcoin goes up with it, which is this white line here. So they go up and down together. And here you can see in 2021, we had a peak number of the M2 money supply, $98 trillion. And then basically the amount of money printing halted, and that caused the bear market for Bitcoin price. But since 2021 until now, the total M2 money supply has basically been going sideways with some ups and downs. Now, however, when we go and take a look at December 30th of 2024, practically the start of this new year, the M2 money supply has started to grow already, while Bitcoin price has gone down, which is a divergence. And usually, as you can see, Bitcoin price follows M2 money supply, and I'm here to tell you guys that the M2 money supply is likely to continue to go to the upside. So in my opinion, this is an absolutely beautiful opportunity for people who want to invest in Bitcoin. Now, let me show you all of the evidence that I have for this new explosion in money supply, money printers. First, this is a news piece from March 6th. So there was a global bond sell-off. And here you can see the Eurozone bond yields of Germany and France. And both of these had a massive jump in practically a few days. And what caused this massive jump here? The jump was caused by this statement from the European Commission or EU Commission. So they are ready to spend 800 billion euro to help EU countries increase defense spending. So 800 billion of practically new money will enter the market, which will dilute the value of everything else. Increase the value of everything else against the euro. And when the bond yields go up, which means the interest rates go up, that means that the markets believe there will be future inflation. So that's why the debt will be more expensive. That's why the yields are going up. But it wasn't only Europe where bonds went up. As you can see here, even in Japan, the interest rates went up. So here you can see the bond was up 0.07%. So Japan and Europe both have basically inflation coming to the market. Now, let me continue because it's not only Europe and Japan where this is going to be a problem. So on February 12th of 2025, US House GOP released a budget that would raise the debt limit of United States by $4 trillion. Now, that was the uh, budget proposal, and now it has already been passed. So United States, even though they have Doge and they will cut government spending, they will still need a lot of stimulus for the struggling companies when the tariffs start to hit. And they will need money for the deportation of the immigrants, illegal immigrants, and I don't know for what else. But whenever they raise the debt limit, that means that they also intend to spend more money. So United States will start spending more money as well. Then Germany, here's another piece of news, and this only came out on 5th of March, and Germany will ease government debt limits. And in my opinion, this was a little bit crazy because they went ahead as far as to loosen countries' constitutional restrictions. So they changed the constitution of Germany in order to spend more money. So they will have now enabled 1 trillion euro or more in spending on defense and infrastructure. This is a massive amount of money printing. This is basically what is causing the yields to go up and the inflation fears to go up. So Germany is on a money printing spree. Europe is on a money printing spree, but that's not the only person again. China, and this came out yesterday on March 6th. They have now come out and said that they have more room to act on fiscal policy amidst global uncertainties. So China has announced that they are raising its own budget deficit to 4%, which is the highest since 2010, higher than in COVID response. That's very, very important to understand. We're basically going back to 2008 levels of fiscal response. So China has delivered a pro-growth message. So they will issue 1.3 trillion yuan in ultra long-term special treasury bonds in 2025. And on top of that, they will issue 4.4 trillion yuan of local government special purpose bonds this year, or 500 billion yuan increase. So in total, if you dollarize these terms, it's roughly $1 trillion. Then when we go to Japan, their debt limit or debt has already climbed to a record of 1.32 quadrillion yuan. This is a little bit older news. This is from a month ago, but even in this piece of news, you can see that they have growing pressure from both the ruling and opposition camps to spend even more. And now with NATO spending plans, Donald Trump is pushing for everybody to spend more money on defense. Most likely, Japan will yield and they will also ease the restrictions and print more money as a response. Then we head over to Bank of England or Britain, and for now, they are still hell bent on not easing the restrictions. So for now, on March, sorry, actually this is from 2024, so you can forget what I said. I had wrong piece of news. So I was looking at the most recent news before I made this video. Sorry for messing this up, but practically speaking, UK government has not responded yet and are not talking about easing the restrictions. They are talking about restrictive monetary policy. But this piece of news that I had here, sorry for making this mess up. But anyway, going further, France, this came out on March 4th, 2025. They are saying that the NATO meeting for higher defense spending will complicate fiscal consolidation. So they plan to increase the spending to 3% of GDP for defense, and that basically will mean that there will be a budget deficit of 4% by 2029. And when we take a look at the France budget, you can see that if they do a 3% increase in the deficit spending, You can see 2026 that the budget will would go from 60 all the way to 120 or 100 by 2029. So if they go on a deficit spending spree, that will completely derail their budget. But that's basically the only way they can quickly have a defense spending fix for the problem that they have right now in Europe. So France most likely will be spending more money as well. So most of the biggest economies on the planet will go on a spending spree against the tariffs. Canada will most likely have a response for the tariffs, and the rest of the world, when April 2nd hits, when the reciprocal tariffs hit from United States against the other nations, most likely what they have to do is April will be a month of chaos, but after April, we will start to see the fiscal response, which is most likely going to be money printing across the board. Now, going to Bitcoin. Yesterday, US signed Bitcoin strategic reserve into law with an executive order. And here is the fact sheet straight from the White House website. So the most important part is that whatever Bitcoin the United States now owns, they will keep. They will not sell it. They will not transfer it. They will simply keep the money that they already own as basically the foundation for this strategic Bitcoin reserve. On top of that, the Secretaries of Treasury and Commerce are authorized to develop budget neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin into the strategic reserve that they plan to never sell. So this is important. United States government for now will not spend its own money for the Bitcoin strategic reserve, but there may be budget neutral strategies to acquire more Bitcoin. What could this be? Well, for instance, if there's an upcoming politician in the United States, let's call it a pro Bitcoin politician, he campaigns and wants to become part of the government. If you donate to me 50% of the money that you donate, I will donate to the US strategic Bitcoin reserve. So, from the donator's standpoint, they donate Bitcoin into a very good cause because the money will be increasing the wealth of United States, and it also increases the value of Bitcoin because it is basically taken out of circulation when it's entering the Bitcoin strategic reserve. On top of that, they get a pro Bitcoin politician in the government to further pump the prices of crypto. This is one use case where the strategic Bitcoin reserve can go up in value. So this is not the best piece of news, and that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin had a downturn today, because people were hoping that United States government will go to the market and buy Bitcoin, which is not the case in this instance. But this Bitcoin strategic reserve will accrue more Bitcoin over time, which is very, very good. It also cements the value proposition of Bitcoin as a store of value. So this is quite bullish in the long run. And that is not the only thing. Texas has now passed its own strategic reserve legislation in the Senate. I don't know the exact details of this Bitcoin strategic reserve, but they want to acquire Bitcoin as well, on top of whatever the federal government is doing. But even though it has passed the Senate, it now has to pass through House, and then the governor needs to sign it off as well. I don't know when it will come to fruition, maybe in 2026, who knows. But all in all, there is uh, a rivalry or a race to acquire more Bitcoin. As you can see, states, countries will now have to have their own Bitcoin uh, plans as well. So this is fundamentally quite bullish. But this is also something that you have to understand, that this is not the end of the story for the Bitcoin strategic reserve. because there are senators like Senator Cynthia Lummis who is uh, proposing that United States government would go to the market and buy Bitcoin and deposit into the Bitcoin strategic reserve. But for that, the president cannot just cause make a executive order for that. This has to pass through Congress. And if you want this to pass, then you need to be obviously from the United States, and you need to pressure your representative in the Congress to make this come into fruition. So there is still a chance that the United States government would go to the open market and buy Bitcoin. So maybe it will happen. I doubt it will, but maybe it could still happen. So there's still some hope for people who were let down by the announcement here. So all in all, when we go back to the chart here, April 2nd is going to be an important date because that's when the reciprocal tariffs will go into effect. And that will most likely create chaos in the whole planet because the whole planet has to adjust to this new reality where they cannot sell to the United States citizens and companies unless they pay massive tariffs or their own governments lower tariffs against the United States, or they go to the United States and create the plants there for the people. But all of this will require adjustments from the planet, and it may actually cause the prices to go down significantly. So even though I'm saying in the long run, Bitcoin is bullish, you may want to wait until basically May when this chaos has kind of, or even June when this chaos has stabilized. But even now, as we can see, there is divergence with Bitcoin price, and Bitcoin is quite low right now. And maybe the crash that we're about to witness does not affect Bitcoin because people will ape into Bitcoin as a hedge against the monetary craziness. But right now, an even better asset against, let's call it a banking crisis, is gold, in my opinion. Gold is going up against the price of Bitcoin even as I'm speaking. So, in my opinion, Bitcoin is the risk on hedge against monetary inflation, whereas gold is the risk of hedge against monetary inflation. So, even though Bitcoin is an absolutely amazing asset, gold may be a better asset until the world has aligned itself on this tariff trade war situation. So if you want to trade these markets, if you want to uh, learn how to trade, in my opinion, the best exchange on the planet is Bybit.com. And they are sponsoring this channel. They recently had a massive hack, but right now it seems like they have recovered. So I am resuming this sponsorship that they have with my channel. So if you want to sign up and use Bybit.com, you can use the code denome to get a 10% discount for your first 30 days, and you are eligible for up to $30,000 in welcome rewards also. In my opinion, Bybit.com is the best place for longing and shorting Bitcoin. I made a specific video about Bybit.com that you may want to look at if you want to. But just in short, the best feature is their demo trading account where you can trade with fake money. If you win, if you lose, you will not gain money, you will not lose money. It's basically paper money. And if you start winning, then you can start using your own capital. I think the demo trading account is where everybody should start if they want to learn how to trade and master these markets. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this analysis of this special report. I will see you on the next video. Thanks and bye bye.